for coming out on this beautiful day. We're celebrating nature. We're celebrating God's gift to us, and we are so grateful for all of the attention which the mayor has been giving to making sure that Boston is the greenest city in America. And we're joined by Boston City Councilor Tanya Fernandez-Anderson, Boston City Councilor Kendra Lara, Executive Director of PowerCorp, Davo Jefferson, and State Representative Chris Worrell, and by so many members of the community who care so passionately about this issue. And of course, a special thanks to our mayor, Michelle Wu, for her unparalleled leadership in making Boston a climate beacon, the Green New Deal city on a hill. We are here today to celebrate. We shook the money trees, and we got green for green to make sure that we were making this transition. And I'm so proud to announce $22 million in funding from the Inflation Reduction Act for urban forestry and equitable access to green spaces right here in Massachusetts. And that includes $11 million for Boston's Chinatown, East Boston, Dorchester, Mattapan, and Roxbury neighborhoods. Extreme heat has been the deadliest symptom of climate change in this country to date, and frontline communities are feeling the burn without relief. A legacy of racist redlining and systemic disinvestment has left its mark on too many neighborhoods in Boston. Just like funding and resources didn't get distributed evenly, neither did our trees and our green spaces. But today, we can turn over a new leaf. This funding will bring shade and solutions to the neighborhoods that need them the most. These urban heat islands, lacking the tree canopy that helps keep things cool on a hot day, have been at the back of the line for investment for far too long. When we fought for the Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant investment in climate action in history, we knew we had to put environmental justice at its core. But talking justice without real resources is just lip service. That's why we said Congress has to put its money where its mouth is. And we included $1.5 billion for urban and community forestry in that legislation. Today's celebration is a testament to the unwavering efforts of communities on the ground who have been in the streets demanding their fair share of green outdoor space and federal dollars. This investment in urban forestry will not only help to combat extreme heat in those neighborhoods, it will also help to reduce flooding, decrease noise pollution, purify the air, and provide natural spaces for the community every single day of the year. All this while creating new, good-paying jobs in tree care work. I'm so excited that we have PowerCorp Boston here as an example of how workforce development can also develop beautiful communities. And that's why I called on President Biden to create a federal climate corps, a call that he answered. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I, for 4 years, called for a civilian climate corps. And the White House brilliantly changed the name to American Climate Corps. And then the president 2 weeks ago announced its formulation, and 20,000 young people by the end of next year will be in an American Climate Corps, half of them in urban America, working on projects like this. So, and to give you an idea of the scope of that program, the Peace Corps is 8,000 people a year. So the Climate Corps, as it starts, will be 20,000 mostly young people, with half of them being communities of color and half of the funding going into disadvantaged communities across our country. So that's going to result in the training of young people in clean, green jobs. Organizations like PowerCorp are planting seeds for our forests and seeds for our future. And from scorching heat to cool shade, this funding can make our shining city on a hill into a shaded city that keeps us safe. And this is just the beginning. I'm going to keep fighting in Congress for a just and climate resilient path forward, including by passing my Preventing Heat Illness and Deaths Act to keep tackling the root causes of extreme heat deaths while we celebrate planting roots in the ground today. From beech trees to scenic beaches, from maples to incredible mayors like the one beside me, I am reminded every day that Massachusetts resiliency and power is always going to be leading our country. And at Franklin Park, we are celebrating this new funding to grow our trees, grow our workforce, and grow that power even further. When I was a boy, each one of us had to be able to recite a poem about trees by Joyce Kilmer, who was a World War I figure who actually died in World War I. But he left this poem about trees that every school child had to memorize. And I thought, would you like to hear Trees by Joyce Kilmer? Yeah. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with the rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Now, this week, speaking of God, Pope Francis issued his second encyclical on climate and on the need for us all to protect God's great creation. And it's Laudato Deum, in praise of God. And that's what we really are praising today with all of this funding. It's this wonderful creation that we must continue to protect, but to make sure that every part of every community is able to enjoy it. And with that, I give you our great Green New Deal mayor, who's going to be the model for the country and the world, Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Senator Markey, who is apparently not only a senator, but a poet and a preacher in his own right. He has coined many, many poetic phrases that are don't agonize, organize. I want to thank all the community members who are here, city leaders and our team at City Hall, nearby neighbors, both residentially, but also the zoo represented here. Hello, John. Some of our department heads, Parks Department Commissioner Ryan Woods, Environment Commissioner Allison Brizius, Director of Green Infrastructure Kate England, and many, many, many amazing team members. Dave O is going to speak in a little bit, but he runs up one of the programs that I think we're all proudest of in the city of Boston, because there are incredible inspirational leaders showing us what is possible in the city. So thank you to PowerCorp for being here today and for all that you do. And thank you to my colleagues in elected office. We are here with City Councilor Tanya Fernandes Anderson, who oversees this district, as well as the dollars that we will be feeding into. State Representative Chris, we're in your district too, right? Also, his district, so thank you for welcoming us and being such a strong partner. And City Councilor Candelara, who is the chair of the Climate and Environmental Justice Committee on the Boston City Council. The dollar amount, the $11 million, the programming, the momentum. Sorry, this is a spider. Thank you.
Nature.
That would have been, in like 5 minutes, it would have been very bad. We are here to celebrate a transformative investment in Boston's trees and in our people and communities. Thanks to the United States Forest Service's Urban and Community Forestry Grant, Senator Markey has helped chase down this $11 million, as you heard, to go towards additional funding for the best green technology that we have, our tree canopy. In Boston, we are blessed to have such beautiful examples of historic parks and some trees that are several hundred years old and have been watching the changes of our city far longer than any of us here on Earth, but this isn't equally and equitably distributed across our communities. In environmental justice communities like Dorchester, Roxbury, Chinatown, East Boston, and Mattapan, the density of trees is much lower and the temperatures are much higher. We know that means the extreme heat is felt much more intensely, the air is less clean, and we see health and respiratory issues disproportionately in these communities as well. This funding will help us improve our ability to plant and care for trees across Boston on both public and private land, support workforce development, and ensure that as we expand our tree canopy, we're doing so in ways that create benefits for greener spaces for all of our communities. This grant will empower our PowerCorps Green Jobs program to expand, to hire for 2 new positions, and train 2 cohorts of 50 participants each and every year. These incredible leaders from our communities have been getting the hands-on training to not only maintain our crucially important urban tree canopy, but because more than 60% of Boston's trees live on private land, they're also being equipped to step into the many, many open jobs and positions that we need to be filled as a society and a community to double down on investments and making sure we're closing these gaps everywhere. In May, under the leadership of Chief of Environment and Open Space, Chief Reverend Mariama Whitehammond, Boston created Boston's Tree Alliance, a team of community organizations, volunteers, and community members led by Mass Audubon, dedicated to helping plant and maintain trees on private property, with a specific focus on our environmental justice communities. With this funding, we'll be able to expand tree planting and maintenance, enhance our public education and outreach program, and build capacity through new and extended existing staff positions. We're also going to put some of these dollars towards the incredible work that our green infrastructure team has been doing in collaboration with Environment, Parks, and the Disabilities Commission to use innovative porous paving materials to bring more trees to our sidewalks without creating obstacles or hazards to residents and visitors with visual or mobility restrictions. Altogether, these investments will facilitate the sustainable growth of Boston's trees, wherever they live. We'll have more beautiful, shady, accessible streets for all of our residents and connect our community members to good-paying green jobs to advance our city's climate goals. Thank you again to Senator Markey and for all of our colleagues for continuing to champion climate investment in Boston and at every level. And we're very grateful that we'll be able to use this opportunity to deliver a greener Boston for all our residents. Before I turn it over to Devo, just one more time en español. Gracias a todos, estoy encantada de estar aquí en Franklin Park para celebrar esta inversión transformadora en los árboles de Boston. Gracias a la subvención de bosques urbanos del Servicio Forestal de los Estados Unidos, Boston cuenta ahora con más de $11 millones que se usarán para invertir en árboles por todo Boston. La cantidad de árboles varía mucho de un barrio a otro. En nuestras comunidades de justicia medioambiental, como Dorchester, East Boston, Chinatown y Mattapan y Roxbury, la densidad de árboles es mucho menor. Sabemos que esto se traduce en un calor más extremo y un aire menos limpio, por lo que también se observan más problemas de salud y respiratorios en estas comunidades. Esta financiación nos permitirá mejorar nuestra capacidad para plantar y cuidar árboles en todo Boston, tanto en terrenos públicos como privados, apoyar el desarrollo de la mano de obra y garantizar que, a medida que aplicamos estrategias para ampliar nuestra cubierta arbórea, lo hacemos de manera que compartamos los beneficios de unos espacios más verdes con todas nuestras comunidades. Esta subvención permitirá que nuestro programa de empleos verdes, PowerCorp, se amplíe para contratar a 2 nuevos puestos y formar a 2 grupos de 50 participantes cada año. Finalmente, queremos usar parte de esos fondos para financiar el increíble trabajo que nuestro Departamento de Infraestructuras Verdes ha estado realizando en colaboración con el Departamento de Medio Ambiente, el Departamento de Parques y la Comisión de Residentes con Discapacidades para utilizar materiales de pavimentación porosos con el fin de incorporar más árboles a las aceras sin crear obstáculos ni peligros para los residentes y visitantes con limitaciones visuales o de movilidad. En conjunto, estas inversiones facilitarán el crecimiento sostenible de los árboles de Boston, crearán calles más bellas, sombreadas y accesibles para todos nuestros residentes y pondrán a nuestros jóvenes en contacto con empleos verdes bien pegados que promuevan los objetivos climáticos de nuestra ciudad. Quiero dar las gracias una vez más al Senator Markey y todo nuestro equipo por seguir siendo un defensor de la inversión climática en Boston y todo el país. Y gracias al Servicio Forestal del Gobierno Federal por ayudarnos a ofrecer un Boston más ecológico a todos nuestros residentes. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to Director of PowerCorp, David Jefferson.
Thank you. Thank you. I was told to make sure I didn't have this smirk that I typically have on my face. Peggy, do I have it? Great, thank you. Want to welcome you all for coming out. Thank you, guys. I'm David Jefferson. I'm the Executive Director of PowerCorp Boston, and I get the amazing opportunity to be a part of the team of young folks that I have that are standing here behind me. In particular, I want to thank you, Mayor Wu, for all the support that you provided to PowerCorp and for all the hard work that she's done to make Boston the greenest city in America. I also want to thank you, Senator Markey, for your strong advocacy and securing this funding for the city of Boston. Would also like to thank the U.S. Forest Service for choosing Boston to be the recipient of a $11.4 million grant to move forward our plans for tree care and planting. With 73 participants in the first 2 cohorts and 44 members currently, PowerCorp is eager to expand, build out our urban forestry program, and bring economic opportunity to Boston's young residents who may not have thought a green career was in their future. This grant will help to create an advanced urban forestry track that will add on to the previously learned skills in the foundation of urban forestry track and place PowerCorp members in jobs that in a changing climate and economy are absolutely necessary to the wellness of our planet and necessary to their livelihoods. Particularly, PowerCorp members will learn proper chainsaw use, including breakdown and maintenance, safety training with equipment, advanced tree and shrub identification, how to fell and buck a tree, and how to properly recycle wood. With these funds, PowerCorp will be able to increase the amount of trainees per year, increase the benefits, services, and incentives members receive while in training. And we're thrilled for the opportunity to expand our team both in terms of members and in staff. Through this grant, we'll be creating 2 new positions. One will be a program director. Another will be a project manager. Both will have an arborist background, and they'll be able to help guide our PowerCorp members through this program in a really meaningful way. While the change of climate change is daunting, there are moments like today that highlight our ability to come together and work towards multiple goals at once. Accessibility, equity, green in Boston, and bringing opportunity to young people in our environmental justice neighborhoods. I have a really short poem as well. Trees Are Really Great by David Jefferson. Thank you. I'll close on that note. And again, I want to thank you all for coming out, and I hope you enjoy your long holiday weekend. Thank you, guys.
Really, you were surprised. I'm nominating you. Brilliant.
We're open for any questions.
Questions? Question?
Spider?
And again, I just want to add that Congresswoman Presley and Senator Warren and I, we were partnering throughout that whole IRA process to ensure that it had the millions, the billions, the hundreds of billions of dollars that were in the IRA, and a disproportionate amount of it is going to be ultimately coming to the city of Boston. So are there any questions that anyone has?
A question for you, Senator, or maybe more appropriately for the mayor. $11 million, $11.4 million for trees. Is there going to be trees that you're planting? Are you going to be building parks? What are you actually going to do with this money? How many trees does $11 million buy?
And so I will, if any of the team members want to come up and add more specifics, I'll just say that we, thanks to the great work of so many in Boston and many community members and organizations, have an urban forestry plan that was developed over a period of multiple years and released last year. And so this funding is going to help us implement that plan, which of course includes planting more trees directly, but it's also building the workforce directly from our communities who will be able to step into these jobs everywhere. It's also ensuring that we're building the infrastructure to make it possible for the trees to go in everywhere, in public spaces and parks, but also creating more of the tree pits in the sidewalks so that the trees can go directly in there. So there's a lot of pieces to that, but it's overall looking to close gaps in our urban tree canopy across different neighborhoods.
You say creating jobs. Over what period of time are we talking about spending this money? These are not permanent jobs, I take it, or they'll be there for a couple of years?
Well, the PowerCorp program is cohorts that rotate through. Does anyone from PowerCorp want to talk about the program itself, or?
Well, I'm actually a graduate from the second cohort. My name's Nikita. Sorry, my name's Nikita Struthers. Actually, assistant crew leader. So basically, we deal with it's a 6-month course, but it just got extended to 10 months after this cohort actually ends. So it's actually leaving room for like more certifications to do more tree planting, to do more invasive removal, plenty of things. But I'll say for me, like, I kind of wasn't interested in trees until I got a little bit of the PowerCorp information, and it kind of did a lot of stuff for me. So I'm still learning. But yeah, it's a 6-month course. It's not like how can I say it? It's not like the hardest of work, you know, but we kind of do need these type of things to happen so that it's sustainable for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. So a lot of the trees, as you can see, is dying. It's a lot of pruning. There's a lot of stuff that you can see that's around you right here that needs to be fixed. So this would be like a piece of where that money goes to.
Yeah, I think PowerCorp, like the American Climate Corps, is going to give skill sets to young people. So it won't just be a job, it'll be a career. They'll be able to move into other workplaces with the same skill set that they otherwise would not have had if there wasn't a PowerCorp, if there wasn't a Climate Corps to give them that basic skill set, that ability to go to future employers with an ability to say, we know how to do this.
So my understanding, and the team will fill in terms of more positions, but there will be some created within PowerCorp to be able to have the capacity to expand the cohorts and to keep that going. And are we talking about positions? Two for PowerCorp, 7 for parks. Okay. And the goal is that hopefully once our PowerCorp members graduate from the program, they're willing to stay with the city of Boston, because we're getting a lot of competition from other cities who are watching our program, and as soon as graduation happens, they make offers and they try to hire everyone away. So there's so much need for this kind of training and skill set, and when talent is ready to step into these jobs, we can't fill them fast enough. So the more that we can create the workforce, the more we'll all be able to close gaps faster.
Questions? Thank you all so much for coming out.